General Hospital will reveal that despite not living with Sidwell for a long time, Natalya has still maintained her connection with him, not out of lingering affection but because of the binding ties of secrets and unfinished obligations. He had never officially let go of Natalya, because he knew that she wasn't just an intelligent woman but also a valuable pawn in his covert operations. Unlike the women who came before her, Natalya was not simply a dependent or a sacrificial piece. She had the skills, quick thinking, and sharp mind that made Sidwell keep her under his control. To him, Natalya was not only an ex-wife but also a useful tool, a capable hand that helped him carry out missions that even his most loyal henchmen could not manage. Sidwell, an ambitious and calculating man, did not believe in absolute loyalty, but he had blind faith that Natalya still sided with him. In his eyes, Natalya continued to serve him like a subordinate, carrying out his orders precisely and discreetly. The missions he assigned her were not simple tasks, but dangerous jobs requiring finesse and strength. In the past, Natalya had never disappointed him, which made Sidwell believe that even though they were no longer married, she was still a part of his plans. However, what Sidwell did not anticipate was the quiet betrayal that Natalya had been hiding all along. Beneath the facade of a loyal servant, she had secretly been building her own plan, gradually breaking free from his control without revealing any signs. She still carried out his missions flawlessly, but every piece of information, every move she made, had a hidden purpose he could not foresee. Sidwell failed to realize that Natalya was no longer the woman she used to be. She had changed, no longer just an obedient follower, but a player in this power game. Sidwell was so confident in his control that he never suspected that Natalya had switched sides. He couldn't imagine that the very missions he gave her were being used by her to turn the game in her favor, and that every step she took had its own purpose. She was no longer just a pawn in his plan, but was slowly becoming the one who controlled the game. And the most dangerous part that Sidwell failed to see was that Natalya was not only betraying him, but also using him to achieve a greater ambition, one that even Sonny couldn't predict. On the surface, Natalya still displayed her devotion in carrying out the tasks Sidwell gave her, with no sign of negligence or rebellion. She continued to gather information according to his orders, approached key targets, and engaged in high-risk operations. In Sidwell's eyes, Natalya was a reliable agent, not only because of her intelligence and agility but also because she understood the workings of the underworld and always knew how to stay hidden in the shadows. She never showed any signs of wavering loyalty, which was exactly what kept Sidwell from suspecting her. However, behind that facade, Natalya had quietly set her own plan in motion. This was not a sudden betrayal or an impulsive act, but a strategy that had been carefully plotted for a long time. She no longer accepted being a puppet in Sidwell's hands, and the only way to break free from his control was to turn the very tasks he gave her into an advantage for herself. She manipulated the information, only providing Sidwell with what he wanted to hear while using his resources to build her own standing. Every piece of information she gathered, every person she approached, served not only Sidwell but also her own interests. Everything reached a turning point when Sidwell ordered Natalya to monitor Sonny, whom he saw as the biggest obstacle to his plan of expanding his influence in Port Charles. For Sidwell, this was a crucial mission, an opportunity to infiltrate Sonny's system and find his weaknesses. But for Natalya, this was the perfect time to execute her betrayal. Without hesitation, Natalya approached Sonny, but not to carry out Sidwell's scheme, but to establish an alliance with Sidwell's enemy. She knew that Sonny held more power and influence than Sidwell ever realized, and aligning with Sonny would give her a huge advantage. But Natalya did not approach with the attitude of someone begging for protection or a pawn seeking refuge. She came with the confidence of someone who knew her worth. She didn't just provide information about Sidwell to gain Sonny's trust, she also offered an opportunity, a partnership that the Port Charles kingpin would have a hard time turning down. Natalya entered Sonny's territory not as a simple trader but as a calculated player. She didn't just want to take down Sidwell, she also wanted to place herself in a more significant position, one where no one could control her. With every move, she gradually broke free from Sidwell's shadow while making Sonny believe she was a valuable ally. But was she truly loyal to Sonny, or was this just another part of the game she was playing? That remained a mystery, even for the most experienced. During her time in Los Angeles, Natalya didn't just follow Sidwell's orders to watch Sonny, she turned this task into an opportunity to strengthen her position in the underworld. She understood that if she wanted to break free from Sidwell's control and not be used as a pawn, she needed a strong ally, and no one was more suitable than Sonny, a powerful man, full of experience, and Sidwell's greatest enemy. But Natalya knew that in order to stand beside Sonny without raising suspicion, she couldn't approach him in the usual way. She had to make him see her value, prove that she wasn't just a traitor to Sidwell but also an essential player in the upcoming battle. Natalya's first step was to reveal part of Sidwell's plans to Sonny, but not the whole truth. She carefully selected information that would make Sonny wary of Sidwell but not enough to make him question her true motives. What she said was carefully calculated to make Sonny realize that Sidwell was preparing an attack on his territory, but leaving gaps that only Natalya could fill. In this way, she made herself an invaluable source of information, forcing Sonny to keep her close if he wanted an advantage over Sidwell. Every move Natalya made was purposeful. She never spoke too much, never showed excessive emotion, and never revealed any signs that she was playing a dangerous game between two powerful forces. She built the image of a betrayer seeking protection, but inside, she remained in control. Her meetings with Sonny were not only about providing information but also about observing, learning how he ran his operation, and most importantly, finding his weaknesses. Natalya didn't come to Los Angeles just to betray Sidwell. She came to find a way to rise, to secure a position no one could shake. Sonny, despite being seasoned in the underworld, had not fully grasped Natalya's true motives. He knew she had her own reasons for betraying Sidwell, but he hadn't yet figured out if she was genuinely loyal to him. He remained cautious, keeping his distance, but couldn't deny that the information she provided was valuable. This made Sonny accept keeping Natalya around, but it also meant he couldn't take his eyes off her. However, what Sonny didn't know was that Natalya was not only trying to bring down Sidwell, she was also pursuing a greater ambition, a plan that even Sonny could not yet see through. In a world where betrayal could happen at any time, Natalya no longer wanted to be a background figure working for someone else. She wanted to create her own empire, one where she didn't have to be loyal to anyone except herself. And to do that, she was willing to manipulate both Sidwell and Sonny, turning them into pawns in the game she was slowly controlling. When one of Sidwell's loyal agents reported that Natalya was with Sonny, warning signals immediately went off in his head. Sidwell was not easily trusting, but of all the agents who had worked for him, Natalya was the only one he had never suspected. Though they were no longer married, he still believed that she belonged to him in some way, that she would never do anything to threaten his power. But the report from his agent couldn't be ignored. Why was Natalya with his enemy? Was this part of the plan he had set, or was it something beyond his control? Sidwell knew Sonny was a smart and experienced man. If Natalya had truly betrayed him to side with Sonny, she wasn't someone who could be easily manipulated. This made Sidwell more confused. Was Natalya truly switching sides, or was she trying to get close to Sonny to carry out the mission he had given her? But no matter the hypothesis, just the fact that she appeared with Sonny without reporting back to him was enough to make Sidwell uneasy. His anger flared at the thought of Natalya deceiving him, but more than anger, he felt fear. If Natalya had truly changed, was she silently playing a game he had yet to recognize? Sidwell would not accept any betrayal, especially from Natalya. His suspicion slowly turned into obsession as he decided to keep a closer eye on her than ever before. Natalya's moves would no longer take place in the shadows. He wanted to know exactly where she went, who she met, and most importantly, who she was really loyal to. He ordered his men to track Natalya, gather all possible information about her meetings, every transaction, every conversation. If she was betraying him, Sidwell wanted to know before she could act. But Sidwell didn't realize that, from the moment Natalya accepted this mission, she was no longer under his control. All the plans he had laid for her were just pieces of a bigger picture she was painting for herself. Sidwell thought he was pulling the strings of Natalya, but in reality, he was just another pawn in the dangerous game she had quietly set up. Every time he ordered surveillance on Natalya, she had already anticipated it, leaving enough traces for him to believe she was still following her mission while she was actually leading him in the direction she wanted. Sidwell still believed he was the one in control, that with more surveillance, he would have Natalya in the palm of his hand. But what he didn't know was that Natalya had changed. She was no longer the woman she once was, swept up in his schemes with no way out. Now, she was the one in charge, the one leading the game. And by the time Sidwell realized the truth, it might be too late to reverse the situation. Every time Sidwell gave an order, Natalya never followed it mindlessly or without consideration. She understood his personality, suspicious but also arrogant, always believing that he could control everything and everyone around him. To maintain Sidwell's trust, Natalya carefully manipulated the information, providing just enough to make him believe she was still loyal, but not enough for him to verify or doubt her. Every report she sent was perfectly arranged, just enough accurate data to solidify his trust, but at the same time hiding crucial details she wanted to keep for herself. Natalya knew how to release information in stages, like drawing a picture that Sidwell believed was the whole story, but in reality, it was only a small part of her true plan. She never outright lied, because she knew Sidwell had too many ways to verify the truth. Instead, she chose to twist the facts, leading him down the path she wanted. When Sidwell asked her to monitor Sonny's meetings, she did just that, but instead of reporting crucial matters, she only provided superficial information, business meetings, trivial encounters. The things that really mattered, the secrets between her and Sonny, she concealed skillfully. She played a dangerous game, where a single wrong move could land her back in Sidwell's hands or even Sonny's. If Sidwell discovered her betrayal, she might not get a second chance to fix things. If Sonny realized she wasn't entirely truthful, he could discard her immediately, or worse, treat her as an enemy. Every step Natalya took was like walking a tightrope, tense and without room for error. But she was undeterred. She had come too far to turn back, and she knew that to survive in this game, she could not let anyone control her. Sidwell might be dangerous, but Natalya was not afraid of him. She understood his weakness, his arrogance and possessiveness. He believed she still belonged to him, that no matter how far she went, she would always come back to him. It was this complacency that made him blind to the smallest signs of betrayal. Natalya exploited this to keep playing her game, manipulating Sidwell step by step. However, the most frightening part was not Sidwell or Sonny, but Natalya herself. She was no longer bound by loyalty or morals, had no emotional attachments or obligations to anyone. If she wanted to survive and achieve her goals, she was ready to betray anyone. She knew this, and she wasn't afraid. In a world of people like Sidwell and Sonny, there was only one rule: the strong survive, and the weak are eliminated. And Natalya had no intention of becoming weak. The biggest question now wasn't when Sidwell would discover Natalya's betrayal, but whether Sonny would truly trust her. More importantly, what did Natalya really want? Was she truly on Sonny's side, or was she just using him to achieve her own goals? In a world where betrayal was commonplace, Natalya was slowly creating a new game, one where she was no longer anyone's pawn, but the one controlling the game on her terms.